Hey everybody, and welcome to another Arkham Horror list video. We finally have the special guest that I said was going to be joining us at the end of the previous two list videos. I did not lie. We have Mackenzie joining us from SideGameLLC. Viewers on our channel who watch all of our videos, we love you, by the way. Thank you. Keep watching them. May recognize Mackenzie from the trivia show that we did on his channel and then cross-posted on our channel. A link to that on SideGameLLC is going to be down in the description below. If it's not there, please remind me, as I usually forget by the time I upload these videos, but I will hopefully remember for this one, where you can see Travis, Bryn, and I compete in a bloody trivia contest, where one of us, one of us came out as a champion, and the other two died in the arena, but they came back, whoever they were. But for this list video, we're going to be talking about our top 3 favorite investigator and asset pairs. Before we start, Mackenzie, actually we'll save it at the end. I'll have you kind of just pitch what your channel does at the end of the video. But why don't we just dive right in and get this going with Bryn's number 3.
So you're probably thinking, Bryn, Mark's not allowed to take green cards. You're 100% right. He is not. However, through the magic of Versatile, we can take the Knuckle Dusters and make use of our 5-punch to score extra damage on every attack. It's pretty cool.
So, this is for you too, Mackenzie, because you did not see the... I'm going to pull the curtain back on this. As we were getting going, Travis was like, is Mackenzie going to choose any, like, versatile cards? Because Bryn's... And then Travis was like, or is he, like, you know, is he not like that? And then Bryn started off with choosing... You know, I'll be completely real. I didn't even realize that Mark Harrigan needed versatile to take this card. I just was putting the slides, and I was like, yeah, Mark Harrigan Knuckle Duster sounds fun.
This is such a Bryn pick. I'm so happy.
Even the Retaliate isn't that much of a downside. If they hit you for damage, you just get to draw cards.
What if they hit you for brain?
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, just don't do that.
Just don't fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Mackenzie, you think that this is a very Bryn pick?
I think this is a very Bryn pick. Kind of thinking outside of the box for the list, but in a fun, creative way. This is great. And obviously, I'm sure Travis is,
It's so bad.
Yeah, Travis.
Instead of spending the 2 experience on versatile and making your deck worse, you could just buy a good gun.
No, man.
You could just buy 2 machetes.
Yeah, you could just buy 2 machetes. You could just, you know. I mean,
it's favorite, not best.
That's fine.
That is true. That is true. Yep. All right, let's go to my number 3, which is going to be Trish Scarborough and pickpocketing. Now, I know you're probably thinking, hey, Justin, pickpocketing just goes in any rogue investigator because, you know, you are going to be evading enemies and you draw cards because of that. It keeps things going. But Trish has some fun stuff that kind of comes in advantage with pickpocketing. Which is because of her printed ability, whenever she gets a clue from a location with an enemy, she can gain an additional clue or evade that enemy. And when you evade that enemy with her ability, you still get the pickpocketing trigger that comes from that. So now your player card essentially reads evade an enemy and also now draw a card. And when you get your 2 pickpocketings in play, that's just like so much test list value that can come from it. Yes, you are forgoing the clue that can come from it. But I think as like, if you were like a flex spot, I think that could be really fun with Trish and just get all that advantage out of it. Just use it as to evade and then be like, let's go. It just feels nice.
Pickpocketing level 2 does not work because you automatically.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. That's why I.
Yeah. Don't pay for the level 2 one if you're gonna do what Justin just said.
Yeah.
It'll be bad.
I like it. It promotes flexibility, so I think that's always good in a game like this.
I mean, actually, yeah, it could then also now it could just become resources if you do need them. So there is that, like in the pinch. Like we all can agree at this table that cards are better than resources.
I think the resources are a little bit better for Trish in particular. Oh, what shocker.
Yeah. What's the dog's name?
This is Corn. She's our mascot.
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
it's either grab her or she'll kind of, interrupt our recording.
Yeah, I have a cat out here who always wants to get in, and he just had some time, but he's not allowed in when we're recording. He's too obnoxious.
Extra special guest today.
All right, Travis, let's move to yours. What is your number 3?
It's another Mandy one. This is Mandy with the Ancient Stone. We have Knowledge of the Elders here because it's the damage dealing one, because it's like the best one. But the other ones are all very strong for her as well. And I really like the interaction between Mandy and these, because most search effects allow you to draw the card. And Mandy getting you to pick another one lets you basically draw 2 cards for free with whatever action you're doing, and then you get to like shock an enemy, or you get to move up to 2 locations or whatever. Mandy also has a very easy time of getting a very high score on the Ancient Stone to get lots of charges on it, or lots of secrets. So if you have 8 secrets on your Ancient Stone, you can usually afford to just like split them up, or just spin the wheel on your shrewd analysis and you take what you take. Because Mandy doesn't have any issue finding the one that you need when you need it. But yeah, like she has some really strong options for just like automatic. You can play green cards and do the infamous 3 aces Mandy deck, where you're like, I'll test a lot. Yeah. To wherever the game's gone, you're like, yeah, I'll just pass. And
Poor Mandy ruining Bryn's fun.
Oh man, like yeah, every green card in the game gets nerfed because some yellow characters can play them.
Yeah.
oh, baby.
Garbage.
Yeah, I mean...
All in didn't.
Which one?
All in.
Yeah, it did. It gets removed from the game now.
Yeah, but wait, yellow character broke it.
One of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When I
We'll
figure
blame
that
Min
out,
for that one,
yeah.
even though she can't
Yeah,
play it.
There was a preemptive
I'm
3-year early nerf for...
to blame Mandy for it too.
Yeah.
3-year early nerf for Trish.
Yeah, probably.
It is also nice about this one, too, to just make, like, Mr. Rook even just that much juicier.
Yeah.
Now you get a get true 2 from him, and then you also just get a, as Travis said, shock something.
Yeah. Also, the best card to pair with this is, like, Blood Raid. And Mandy has a very easy time of finding those as well.
Yes, yeah. Sweet. All right, this right now is history, folks. We're going to have the first non-one of us give a thing on the list video. So Mackenzie, absolutely no pressure, but this is history making. They're going to write about this. It's going to be on Mount Rushmore. What is your number 3?
All right, so my number 3 recently just came up in an Innsmouth conspiracy campaign, and this is Preston Fairmount and his private man, his assassin for hire, the Red Gloved Man. So I've had a blast kind of running through with a really awkward campaign and kind of breaking the game using really fun, one-off events, etc., and just pulling off really fun combos. And Red Gloved Man is like the epitome of that. He comes in, does his job, cleans up, and gets out. It's super cool. It lets you do things you wouldn't normally be able to do. And with Preston, that's pretty much everything. So I really like the fact that Red Glove Man fits in those specific spaces that are missing. So if you have your Fire Axe and you have your Mariner's Compass for your investigating and your brawling, but sometimes a specific test will show up and you're like, oh man, I really need these specific numbers. That's when you give him a call, he comes in and helps out, and it's fantastic. So I really like Red Gloved Man with Preston. It's a great thing to work towards, and I think it just works extremely well for his playstyle.
Yeah, he's got some really nice synergy with like the red cards, in particular Close Encounter. Chance Encounter, that's it.
Yeah. Close Encounter would be aliens.
Yeah. Yeah,
I agree. He also pairs well with Flare, and like you can if you think you need him, it's kind of cool. You can be like, all right, I could really use a Red Glove Man, but I'll take a Leo DeLuca if it comes out. So you can kind of pick and choose what happens, but it's really neat. I love that there's so much interplay with that, and you can kind of plan for it, which is really cool because there's just a lot of flexibility with Preston's card pool, which is really interesting because he's obviously not very good at anything. So the fact that he has this really powerful card is also just a blast. So I really like this one. Yeah,
I just talked about him last week, 2 weeks ago in YouTube time. As we always say, YouTube time works differently here. But because Preston is like a Survivor ally without being in Survivor, and like Preston is a Survivor, like it's his minor, but most of the time I've always built him. He's like I find he works best taking advantage of the survivor side of his pool. So him with Red Glove Man, they just work well together. And like you said, 6s are a lot better than 1s. You actually get to do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty big improvement.
Get to play a real turn for once.
All right.
Or a normal turn. I guess we should say a normal turn.
There you go, a normal
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah, he does. You're always doing stuff. Sometimes you're throwing turkeys and things.
It's true.
You know.
It's true. All right, Bryn, you ready for your number 2?
Sure.
Let's go.
We got William Yorick in the Enchanted Armor.
Choice.
Yeah.
Because it affects
Yeah.
me.
Because it affects Travis. Yeah. This one, so I don't actually think that the Enchanted Armor is that good. For most of the time. A lot of rules get to change with Will Yorick because you get to play things on your discard pile, like the Enchanted Armor after you fail the brain test and have to dump it. But playing red and blue cards also give you a lot of options to increase your brain score, to make it so that you can actually soak 4 or 5 damage on the Enchanted Armor before you have to throw it away. And not only you can, but anybody at the table can. You got a Harvey Walters playing with you? Yeah, it's cool. You got a Thrice Stamped Curiosity. Like, no problem. You got a Sister Mary? It's good. Just keep all the blessed tokens in the bag all the time. Whatever. I'll get it. And then when it inevitably breaks, all you have to do is kill somebody. You'll find it.
Make
Yeah.
new armor out of their skin.
Yeah, make armor out of their skin.
That's why it's magic.
That's why it's magic.
What campaign was it that you played this in?
Oh.
I believe that was that our one collection thing?
Yeah, that might
Yes,
have
the
been.
one was the one collection challenge.
Because I was pretty sure nobody else would want to play this.
Yeah, and
Ever.
I mean, like, as I said in a previous video, that you're like kind of like the master of Will Yorick. You can like I mean, this is not like
There's
when
no
you
one
think
plays
about
it.
it, it's not really like a hard thing to see,
No.
but like you're like, this is going to be good in this deck. And then it was pretty great
It was
for Will
great,
Yorick.
Yeah, I had to
Worked very
bend my
well that
deck a little bit out of shape because I didn't start out trying to play the Enchanted Armor. It was released partway through the campaign we were playing. But you can buy the blue Holy Rosary, and
Yeah.
Brother Xavier gives you a brain boost, and Dig Deep will let you bypass whatever brain test you really need to.
Yeah, no, it's impressive.
This is really cool. This is one that I'm always afraid to play
Yeah.
because of that potential just huge swing of damage. And oh man, the auto fail token, it's just like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
It
I'm
will.
always afraid to play cards like this, but I think this makes a lot of sense with
Yeah.
Will.
Yeah, I think it's like this is where it works in Will Yorick because he can play it once it breaks again, right?
Yeah.
Like, so then you get like a lot of value out of your 2 experience thing, and it also provides that griefing where you can get rid of something in their body slot if you wanted to. Yeah.
It also takes up an Arcane slot, which is sometimes relevant, but not usually for Will.
Yeah. Man, Lonnie can't even fix this. It's not an item because it's magic.
She's not magic.
No. Because I was going to say, Tony can protect it and Lonnie can fix it, but no, he still wants that leather jacket.
Obviously, this does get like massively worse the harder difficulty you're playing on.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
you got to pass a test at least one time.
What difficulty do you play on, Mackenzie, when you play?
So it depends. If I'm playing with other people, we generally just play standard. But if I'm playing solo, I play easy. Because let's be real.
I mean, like,
I'm not-
do you play true solo?
I play
like-
true solo.
Yeah,
when
I
play
think,
solo.
true solo itself is already, like, kind of, we don't like it here that much. I play two-handed now exclusively, because it's just, like, it's not balanced as well, so I think, like, playing on easy. I think the one time I played solo, I did easy 0.5, where I had an easy thing to start, but then I followed the standard additions throughout the campaign, but...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good way to approach it. In my experience, I'm also not that good of a deck builder. That it might become apparent from my list here, but I think that whenever I do think of something, it's like, okay, I'm going to be alone, so what cards are going to be best for kind of covering all the bases? Or if I do play with somebody else, my friend Robert is who I usually play with, and he is very much focused on like building really good combos and really powerful decks. And he's very focused on like, he does the research, and I just get to enjoy the gameplay, which is really cool.
Yeah. All right, well, speaking of broken combos, let's go to my number 2, which is Silas Marsh and Cherished Keepsake level 1. Wow, so powerful. They need to taboo this specifically, but not really. I just like this one because Silas has
Why would he need
Yeah,
13
his,
brain?
yeah, his stats are.
his stats should be switched.
Yeah.
They should be
Yeah.
9 and 5. I think someone pointed that out on a previous video. So he should have 9 damage and 5 horror. But that's a weird
Makes this
mistake
look
for me.
kinda stupid.
It does, doesn't it? But in all actuality, Silas only has 4 horror, and like he can. Sorry, 5. Yeah, and he can die pretty easily. But Cherished Keepsake is like such an efficient way of not dying, because you put the Cherished Keepsake level 0 in the majority of your Silas decks because it just gives you an additional 2 right off the bat, and then when it dies, you don't have to play anything to put the next one there. And then the level 1 versions, they are now just 4 and you could exile it, or you just treat it as 3 and then you replace it when you need another one. And then Cherished Keepsake's only exiled when it's defeated by horror, but if it leaves play for any other reason, it's just discarded.
Yep.
And then you just play another. So if you play another one, you discard the one with the horror on it, and then you have an additional 3 horror soak, and you're just like not scared of dying because of this. It's especially also great too with like what's the treachery crypt chill, or the one that causes you to put a card back, discard an asset.
Yep, that's
or
the
like,
one.
Yeah, that's crypto.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it gets rid of it, and then you can play another one. Or there's some in that bounce assets back into your hand, and with that you just say thank you for the free horror soak you just gave me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's not exactly flashy or anything, but it's just so efficient, and it's just going to be something I always am going to upgrade in my Silas decks because of that.
This is great. It's just like you know how there's that neutral one that basically does the same thing, right? But it doesn't
Yeah.
exile. Like even if it gets to that point where this gets banished a couple times or exiled a couple times, like it's still going to be the same price, which is pretty amazing. So I think that's great. Like totally
then
makes sense.
Silas caps on experience kind of early too, so.
Yeah, he does. Like that's the
Yep.
thing, right? Like by then you're just like, it's at this point we're almost done on YouTube our Innsmouth Conspiracy first run, and by this point, like you're going into the last scenario, and you're like, I guess I'll buy this because I just have to
So
spend my
46
experience.
experience, and we're like,
So like having to rebuy a Cherished Keepsake as opposed to not getting defeated by sanity damage is a very minor thing for Silas.
This also gives you a reason to play any ally other than Pete.
Yes, it does, which is nice.
There'd be a lot more pressure to play like Pete in every single Silas deck
If this didn't exist,
Yeah.
I agree. I am excited to try more Silas in the future because exactly that. This allows you to be a bit more brave in your decisions. You don't need to worry about surviving because you got your teddy bears.
It is like kind of uniquely bad in the Innsmouth campaign, hey, where sometimes you just don't get to spend XP in between.
Yeah.
In between.
I mean, you just put the level 0 one
spoilers,
back
I
in.
guess.
Like,
Yeah.
But
it's worse, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
All right, Travis, let's see your number 2.
Yeah. It's Tommy Muldoon, and as the only investigator who can play agency backup in the game and not feel awful about it.
Yeah.
This is here because agency backup is a sick card. It's got, the numbers are all very large on it. And then it does a bunch of things for free without tests. And also it can keep your teammates alive. And Tommy, like I said, he's here because he's the one who can play it good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the reason Tommy can play it good, frees you at home, is because whenever an asset he controls is defeated, you shuffle into your deck and then you get resources back equal to the amount of damage and horror that were on it. So you can like get your agency back up, have like 6 hearts and 6 brains on it. It takes a point of ideally both, but one or the other, and you just get the 7 money back that you spent on it to play other things. So.
And they get shuffled in the deck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well then you just draw it again and then play it with the
Just
money you
fire
got
off
from
your
it.
calling in favors or whatever.
Yeah. I want to play another Tommy deck. I think I have it started on Arkham DB somewhere. It's like Tommy and then question mark with the word that I want it to build around.
I think an ally-centric Tommy deck would be really cool. The agency backups and the chance encounter and the calling in favors and then like the new star cards as well.
Yeah.
Now, Travis, is it worth going ahead and like spending your XP right away to get 2 of these, or is this something that you save for later?
It depends how much you like fun.
Yeah.
If you like fun, then yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I if you're just playing like a monster fighter Tommy, this one's a little bit tough to justify because you still need to put together a competent way to kill enemies.
Yeah.
But if you're doing like a more ally-centric or defensive-oriented Tommy, I think that there should be no issues going for it first. But if you're looking for just like... In most Tommy decks, I would probably prioritize the spiritual respect.
Spiritual resolve?
Resolve, yes.
Yeah.
Just because it's so much soak for like 5 experience.
Yeah, that's the one that it gives you 3 copies, and it's just like a 3/3 soak, right?
Yeah, but agency backup's like way more fun.
Yeah, it is. It is fun. The only time
So
I've
much
played
fun.
Tommy, I had agency backup, and Tommy's kind of weird because like it's that new thing where like Guardians, they're like designing them to not fight anymore, right? Like all the Guardians are like, we're kind of here having a good time, and like Tommy was kind of like the start of that.
Yep.
Actually, I guess Carolyn was kind of the start of that.
Yes, she did come out first.
Yeah.
She's not allowed to play weapons.
She's not. But it's just fun that there's agency backup that he can then play and like just actually play it and not just feel, as Travis said, like you're like, oh, that's a lot of money right there.
Yeah, it's real tough as a Guardian who isn't Tommy to be like, yeah, I just have 7 money lying around for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're Leo, it costs 6.
Yeah.
Like,
It's still a lot.
it's still kind of a lot of money. I think it would be a lot of fun to play this card with calling in favors and chance encounter. Though you could be like,
Yeah.
you got your agency backup, and you're like, I'm calling in favors, and my favors are it's from a different agency.
Yeah.
Also backup, like a bunch of guys.
I mean, like, also even just in Tommy, like, it makes it even better, too, because, like, obviously you want your things to die, but you can return, like, a 3 or a 4 cost ally and then play this for 3. Like, that's...
Makes you wonder why Tom Muldoon, the rookie cop, has that much sway over the FBI.
Have you seen Becky?
Maybe.
They're all just like, oh, Becky, let's go, that's a nice rifle.
No, his dad's probably like the director or something.
Yeah, he
Dad.
definitely has some
Dad, I need more
nepotism.
guys.
Yeah. All right, Mackenzie, let's go to your number 2, which is...
All right. So this is Kate Winthrop and the dog Monocle. Now, if you're familiar, the Arkham Horror side scenario is one of the greatest things to ever come out of the Arkham Horror mythos in general. And the biggest crime that it ever committed was it gave us these really fun cards. Not very good in particular, but really fun cards that really only can be played in like 1 or 2 decks. It's a crime, it really is. And Dog Monocle, the only deck it can get played in, is Kate Winthrop. So that's why they are a perfect investigator asset pair. It's because they're the only people that can actually play with. You know, this is the only way that you can actually play this card. Now, honestly, Kate Winthrop, her best skill is her investigation. So getting that up 1, perfect. Gets, you know, she's fitting her clue of her role. And then we've also got some extra soak for the brain. Sure, we'll take it. But the best thing is you have those cute puppy dog eyes. So you get that +1 skill to your parlay action. So this is just a no-brainer include in Kate Winthrop, in my opinion. And if you get a chance to play this card, you're going to take it because it's a dog monocle. These cards are just a lot of fun. And, oh, man, if only they would unrestrict them and allow us to play them in more Barkham scenarios, or if they give us more Barkham scenarios, that would also be great. Have you had the pleasure of playing these scenarios?
No, you have them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just...
Decks are a pain to build, to be honest.
Yeah, because...
That is totally fair.
as well, because we were digital for so long because of COVID restrictions, we were just like, we never... A lot of the times with paper stuff, when we play something first, we like to play it in paper, right? Like, that's why we waited, like... a year and a bit to play Innsmouth for the first time, like while everyone else is like, where's Innsmouth? We want to hear your thoughts on that one. And then we're just like, no. We can't. We said we were going to wait till we were in person.
Not playing in person.
And now that we're in person, we have like so many other things we get to. Like, we'll be getting to Barkham one day on the channel for sure, because we play Arkham Horror. It's kind of like what we do.
Maybe we'll even do an entire campaign as the dogs. Because you can just...
Yeah,
It's your
yeah,
game.
you
You can
definitely
actually just
could
play
use
whatever
them.
you want.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say too.
You
Like,
can just play this in your
honestly,
deck.
like, I'll just in the future, one day we'll just be like, we're playing a no rules thing, and we got Dog Monocle on Rex Murphy, right? Like,
I mean,
No
how
rules.
strong would that be? You would have Fine Clothes and Dog Monocle on the same character? Watch out.
I mean, yeah, I
Carcosa.
think-
Oh, man.
like honestly, Dog Monocle and Fine Clothes would be absolutely killer in the Last King, the second one in Carcosa, right?
Yeah.
Like, Yeah, just we'll definitely experience the power of Dog Monocle, and also just like, just a dog wearing a monocle. It makes me laugh.
I'm really excited for you guys to try Arkham Horror because I actually think it's an extremely well done scenario.
Yeah.
It's one that I actually use to introduce people to the Arkham Horror card game because first off, it breaks down the theme a little bit where they're like, oh, it's cute puppies investigating, and then they see like the cool mechanics behind it because it does a great job. It reminds me a lot of the Midnight Masks scenario in the base set.
Yep.
I think it does a really good job in like showing what Arkham can do. And I really like it.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, that's not a bad way to introduce people to the softer side of the mythos. Like, this is like, it's fun, it's cute, cats are evil, and then you're like, and then they find this woman at a party whose spine distends out, right? Like,
Or you get with the dreamers, you're like, there's spiders here everywhere.
And they're like, no, I don't like
half
them.
people. And...
Yeah.
No.
Sick. All right, Bryn, let's go to your number one. Chat, can you guess what it is?
It's Safina Rousseau and the Crystallizer of Dreams.
One of these was a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Even though you can't put your painted world into the Crystallizer of Dreams because it apparently removes itself as a forced effect, despite not saying that the effect is forced.
Baby.
Yeah, I know, right? I could complain about that for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
And Bryn's like, and I will.
And I will.
Here's my first point of my 7-point
I have a PowerPoint ready to go. No, but this it's just cool. You know, you want to play a ton of events anyway, because otherwise you get to start with 5 cards in hand or 8 cards in hand, like some sort of pleb. And all of the, well, I shouldn't say all, but a great many green events commit for 2 icons. And the Crystallizer does not require you to commit your skills to your own skill tests. So it doesn't matter which 2 icons they are, there will be a way for you to make use of them. It's just like a giant pile of extra cards. And then, you get the weird jellyfish who's like, stop eating my kids, and you're like, no.
Okay. I'm going to keep eating your children.
Can't stop, won't stop.
It does look like Fruit Loops in there.
It
does,
does.
doesn't it?
Oh,
It exactly looks like Fruit Loops. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm going to have Fruit Loops later tonight. Yes.
Yeah, this
Jellyfish
card.
eggs, the cursed Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite cards, and I think Safina plays it best.
I haven't seen you play it in forever, and it makes me sad.
I haven't played a green investigator in a very long time.
You're playing one right now.
No, I'm not. Leo's blue.
Whatever, man.
And then I'm going to say, what about Trish? I'm like, Trish is yellow.
You're the one missing out.
Trish is a yellow character, let's be real.
You should play Safina when we do Return to Circle, because Foot and Brain are both good. You want to be high on that
Every
one.
time that I sit down to play with my family, I'm like, is this the time that I'll get to play Safina Rousseau? And then one of them's like, I'm going to play with all the purple cards. And I'm like, God damn.
All right, let's hippity hop to my number one, which is none other than Minty Fan and Guided by the Unseen. So I recently was able to actually play with this in one of my Twitch runs. And Min is good with skills, so it's no surprise that, Guided by the Unseen is good with her. But what this does let you do is actually play a research Minty Fan, which is, I like the research archetype a lot. I think it's very fun. And being able to combine my love of skills with my love of research is pretty sick. Because just during now, every skill test someone makes at your location, you can try to find something to research. So just every time you can try to find a surprising find, which now is an unexpected courage. You can find the shocked rabbi because, he's shocked and can't believe what's happening. And then you get 2...
He reloads your Guided by the Unseen.
Yeah, you can reload your Guided by the Unseen. It also lets you then also go into a min that's like a secret archetype too, and it kind of just does it itself. I just think there's a lot of fun things that exist in this card beyond just min-like skills. It was very fun to play with. I liked it a lot. I also, while realizing I was making this list, there's not a lot of investigators and asset pairs that I'm head over heels for. But when we get to investigators and skills and events, oh boy.
You don't play any assets in your decks.
I really don't. No, I don't. But like then Bryn is like Asset City. We recorded today and Bryn had like 12 assets.
And I had like
in
5
play.
allies in play. It was pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Do you like just upgrade like into bandoliers just so you can have excuses to like have more hands full of things?
Mostly.
Yeah, and not to turn
no.
into a tree.
Yeah. In this particular case, I have Dendromorphosis as my random weakness, and I'm playing a blue character, so I need my hands for things. So I'm playing the bandolier to counter that.
Yeah.
But normally I don't always upgrade to it unless I have a good reason.
Yeah. But we do kind of like sit in different areas of the game, and I just think that's so great how we all have the areas we play in. Like, what is your like style that you play most, if you had to say? Like, are you like Bryn, do you like assets? Are you like Travis, where you like hands and like controlling the game? Or are you like me, where you like numbers big?
I think
Skills.
I'm a healthy mix of probably Bryn and Travis, if that makes sense. Like, I like playing fun stuff, but I also want it to be good.
Yeah.
And then I also like playing the things that I know are good. So I guess I fall into a little bit of all three. So it's, I don't know. I really like the game, and I think it's fun to have fun. But if you also, are bad, you're going to lose. So that's also not fun because you don't get to play very much.
Yeah.
And I'm scared to try new things sometimes. So I like sticking with things that I know are powerful. So it's, it's...
That's kind of
Yeah,
the nice thing that we have the luxury as of playing with 3 people. Usually, like, if someone wants to try something fun, they can do it as the flex. They'll be like, I'll do a bit of everything. And it's like, all right, that means they're not going to do anything.
Even now, like, we recognize we wouldn't like try and build a deck that's just bad.
Yeah.
Like, it'll accomplish something. You're not going to build a deck for the sake of it. You build a deck with the goal of winning the game in mind, so.
I also
Correct.
think, like, apart from, like, when you're just starting out and you don't really know, like, cards, it's hard in Arkham Horror to, like, build a bad deck unless you're, like, actively trying. Like, you can make some decisions that are less good than other decisions, but generally the majority of the cards do something in this game.
So,
Which is one thing I really like about Arkham Horror is that there's so much room for creativity, and like there's a way to make everything work, and I think that's really neat. Well, I'm not going to say everything. I did try. Who's the actress? Lola.
Lola.
I don't think she's
everyone's
very
tried
good in
Lola.
general.
Everyone's tried Lola.
Yeah.
We're gonna try Lola again one day.
Bryn says just with a smile to Travis.
One of us is going to.
Yep.
Don't worry, I'll be the monster fighter, he says, showing up with a Lola book.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Lola Santiago is so much better than Lola Hayes.
Yeah. All right, Travis, what's your number one?
That's a good question. Oh yeah, it's Luke. And St. Hubert's Key. I thought about putting the gate box here, but that felt like cheating. St. Hubert's Key is very, very strong, Luke, for very, I hope, are obvious reasons, where you get +1 brain and +1 book, and those are the stats that you use.
Yes. Travis was like, that's it.
It is kind of it. Like there is some interesting things to be done with the -2 sanity, where a pair of arcane researches puts you down to like 5 base, and then you're only 2 sanity away from desperate skills if you have trauma from somewhere else. But also, like, Luke just has good defensive stats and can ignore enemies in a pinch. So you don't need to worry about starting with all that brain damage most of the time. The key gives you 5 brain, you just have 3 foot natively. And then between, like, purple just has, and yellow also just have absurd defensive cards, right? So, but yeah, this card goes a long way towards enabling some of my favorite Luke decks, and cards, like Enraptured is very, very fun with Luke, one of the few investigators who uses it well. Having Dr. Milan as your ally, or you can just, you don't want to ignore the book symbol, because then why not just play the Holy Rosary, but
Yeah.
it opens up a lot
Simple,
of deck
clean,
options.
good stuff.
Yeah. It's when I was making one thing I like doing is because when I was making my list, one that didn't make it was my number 4 was I like Norman Withers and the Hawkeye camera because numbers big, and then I was like, because like St. Hubert's Key, and then you just get your numbers so big. Hawkeye folding camera, St. Hubert's Key, your numbers are huge. You have like what, 7 book and 6 brain? Oh my god, number big.
Yeah, Luke gets a lot of value out of the cards that take things off of.
Yeah.
Get the clues off locations too.
Because
right?
he's at those because he's at the locations.
You can
some of
play
them
as
active
if you were there.
So that's juicy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can like play crack the case if someone gets the clue off your other location.
Yeah. I want to play Luke. I think I'll really enjoy him.
He's so fun. Like, just being able to jump around everywhere. It's like playing with a million evasives. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
All right, Mackenzie, why don't we go to the last one for this video with your number 1, and why don't we close this out here? What do you got?
All right, so my number 1 pair is based off of a campaign that I did in the Dream Eater cycle. So I really like Dream Eaters. It's one of my favorite campaigns. And this was one where we were just trying some new investigators. And multiplayer game, one person picked up Patrice, and it was just so cool to watch them kind of just enjoy their time playing this really different deck, dumping their hand every round, getting new stuff. And I really like Cornered because they were basically able to always do something. They could always discard any card that, you're going to dump your hand, so just get rid of it to complete any test. It was so cool to just have that, that airbag, that cushion of insurance to complete anything. Cornered is just, it's so simple and it works. And I know there's a lot of really cool things you can do with Patrice decks, but I thought that this was just kind of like feeling out the cards. I felt like this was just a very solid way to kind of get introduced to a character and really just have a good time with Patrice, to kind of always have that guarantee, that safety net. So I really like this combo, Patrice Hathaway, Cornered. Once again, very straightforward, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's, I think as soon as you get this card out for Patrice, you suddenly become so much more useful as not just like the skill machine or the improv machine. Now, no matter what, you can do, you can investigate at 4 against a 2-shroud location, right? And it's like per test, so you can do it 3 times, right? Or you can now just get an unexpected courage for each of your spells that you're using if you're doing that for Patrice. I think Cornered is not only very good, but very valuable for players who are playing Patrice for the first time to realize you want this because it lets you actually do things.
Yeah, it really breaks down how Patrice works, where you have all these cards, and the challenge is to figure out what to do with them to make them useful, right?
Yeah.
So
it honestly reminds me of Marvel Champions a little bit, where you're trying to efficiently use as many cards as you can in a turn before you dump your hand and refill. So I really like how this just always gives you a venue to use your cards, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the true upgrade to Unexpected Courage, where it just makes all the cards in your deck Unexpected Courage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been wanting to... Patrice is also on my list of something I want to try again. Maybe for Return to Circle Undone. Maybe that's who I choose. But I want to... I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm excited to play Patrice again in exactly this. I think it's a great number 1 choice. Yeah. Cool. I think that's the video. Before we go, I want to just say to all the commenters, if you have any favorite investigator and asset pairs, let us know in the comments below. We do like reading them. And then before I go again, Mackenzie, why don't you talk a bit about your YouTube channel and what kind of content you create? There will be a link down below to Mackenzie's channel. You should go subscribe. And Mackenzie, what's your channel all about?
We run a SideGameLLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and our whole goal is to run successful, fun, inviting game nights. So we're basically personal game night hosts. So for a while, when the pandemic hit, we had some issues with just in general getting to places and hosting game nights. It was definitely not something people were wanting. So we decided to jump into the YouTube space. And so I thought, what's something different, something that people haven't done yet? And so I decided to kind of take up this organizing videos challenge. So this is an idea for kind of decompressing all of your games and putting them into smaller packages, smaller boxes. That way the games not only take up less space, but they also get played more quickly. There's less setup, less teardown. It's just a way to cleanly organize your collection of games, cards. We have stuff for Arkham Horror, Marvel Champions, all sorts of these LCGs, but we also have the big Kickstarter games. We did one recently for Zombicide 2nd Edition that works out really well. We have Ankh coming up very soon, and we'll have that on the channel, which is super exciting. So the whole goal is to get games played, get them played fast, and just to have something useful here in the community. We also do a lot of top 10 lists, and we have lots of special guests, which is really awesome because everyone is so nice. They're all willing to work, and the Playing Board Games crew here, you guys are so nice joining us for the trivia challenge. It was a blast. Once again, go check out that video because it was really fun. I really enjoyed doing that, and I'd hope that you would like to do something like that in the future again because we'd love to have you. It was a blast.
Yeah, and to go off what your videos are all about, organizing your board games is such a big thing. We are, even though like we do mostly Arkham Horror content, like we release a video a day, we also play a bunch of other board game stuff, as you can see by all this. And organizing is very important. One thing I always tell people, and I'm not gonna judge you if you don't say the same on your channel, but I imagine you do, is just get rid of the majority of the inserts in your games. Chuck them out. They're just taking up space. You don't need them. So
a lot of them are real bad. So it's all about like creative ways. I know I take some scissors to some of the inserts because some of the pieces are pretty good, but making it so that you can use like Dollar Tree organizers, anything to just help speed it up. I think it's super useful. It's going to get it played, and that's a big deal.
Heck yeah. Sweet.
You said Arkham Horror. Do you actually have a video on how to organize Arkham 2nd Edition, like with all the expansions?
I have the card game, Organizing the Arkham Horror LCG. So I actually don't own Arkham Horror, the board game. I don't really like it, so we don't have it in here. For our fix of that theme, we use the LCG as well as Cthulhu Death May Die. Those are like our two go-to
that's
Arkham
Cthulhu Death
Horror
May Die.
products.
They're big boxes. We have them over there. Yeah, so having
It's
to
so
organize
good.
those is Sweet, so go check out SideGameLLC, and I want to just say thank you to everybody for watching. We're going to be back next Thursday with another exciting list video, and then also 6 other days of the week with another Arkham video that you can go check out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.